2 weeks ago, I was $1,888 in the red. And I've only moved the needle about 8%. And that's largely due to my oops that I had this past week, if you've been paying attention to the sorts, for the Back to Black series. The general gist is I sold 2 commander decks and completely forgot to check my prices. Sold it for under cost, lost $21 on just the product and shipping. And then I remembered that I didn't have a packaging gun for Scotch tape, all that fun stuff, and ended up being actually $53 or $54, somewhere around there, in the red for that particular order, which was quite the punch in the mouth when it comes to thinking about the business and moving in the right direction. So all things considered, I'm only 2% moved compared to the 6% last week, and that puts me at a $1,723.53. And I was hoping to be a lot further along this week, but we're not. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is just how change is going to be needed and how, emotions are going to go up and down in this business. And I'm going to wear my heart a little bit on the sleeve and be a little bit more raw with this particular video. So stick around and listen to me yap, I guess. So one of the things that I kind of have been struggling with, and it's kind of the same thing you deal with when you're building your commander decks. I have ice in here. This was going to be my big, awesome mobility deck where I attack and the trigger goes off twice. And this deck has never performed well for me, and that's largely because I am grossly inadequate at deck building, and my pod would agree with me. When you build a mobility deck and then, you only put about 12 of the cards that actually kind of support the concept. Oof. And then on top of that, this deck did not do anything cool on anyone else's turns. And I did some very strange things in here. I mean, I did an attacking thing and put like an end step card in, and not a lot of things happened on other people's turns. And that kind of ruined it. And that's why I'm going to break this deck down and change what I'm doing with it. And that's kind of why I have thought about making this video. Because Tap for Games, the channel itself, it kind of needs to change. And I mean that because YouTube has been hills and valleys as I attract subscribers. And I've gotten subscribers from the shorts, which is awesome, but I'm not necessarily sure if they're the right people I'm trying to attract when talking about building a business and doing it live and in person for reselling. So with that, if you're new here, my name is Josh. I run Tap for Games. I do a basement business, which is selling Magic the Gathering and some Pokemon online through various marketplaces, as well as my direct store. And I would say go to tap4games.com and check it out, but I'm actually going to be on vacation starting this week on Wednesday, so everything's currently in vacation mode because I myself need a break. When you're sitting here and you're working hard here and then having such a result like last week, and then on top of that, YouTube going like a pumpkin tooth, and it's just up, down, up, down, up, down, and you're still trying to figure out what resonates with your audience that you're trying to actually build a base around, it's disheartening. It really and truly is. And that's kind of why I am going to be making changes and making adaptations to the channel going forward. I might include a few more me trying to learn how to build a better deck and buying and sourcing cards. I may include more raw conversations like this going forward, going back to where I first started the channel in the first 2 episodes, which, I was just trying to cut my teeth. And I may still sprinkle in highly edited ones that I have been doing for these last longer form ones. And that's just because I'm trying to figure out what works well for you guys and what you guys would like to see out of me as your proxy or partner by proximity in this business space. So let's talk about Back to Black. I think what I might be doing going forward, and I'm going to take this brief vacation period to think about, is retiring the shorts. As much fun as they've been to build and kind of put out there and have this documented record of how it's going, I just don't think it's bringing in the right people. So with that, I think I'm going to either cut back exponentially on those shorts, or I might just have a rolling total into the videos that I'm doing. And that goes into the next section of the long form videos. I've been trying to hit a weekly cadence for getting video uploads, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I need to do that because I don't necessarily know if I'm always going to have something awesome to talk about that's going to provide value to you as the viewer. I may go back to doing a bi-weekly schedule, a monthly schedule, or just only when I have something really awesome to talk about, and I'll update the Back to Black at that time. Another area that I have been considering just updating Back to Black is just doing a quick community post, just to make it very simple and easy to find if anybody ever wants to see, hey, how's it actually going and moving forward? That way it's at least getting updated live. So talking about the Back to Black challenge in general, you heard the bad news at the beginning of this video that I just did not move as far or as fast as I wanted. And in tandem with that, being a 9-to-5 person who has a main job and doing this as a side hustle, I also had a lot of distractions this past week in trying to get to where I was. The best I had done was conditioned the white bordered cards between its various different spots of either it being lightly played, mostly played, or heavily played, or just completely unsellable because I view it as damaged. And then my commander decks, I also only managed to bust open the boxes. I think you could probably see that I still have 2 boxes sitting back there that I haven't broken open. And that's largely due to just life being in the way. I was able to get to orders and get those listed and kind of check a lot of the other boxes that I wanted, such as getting YouTube shorts. But, you know, when you have a Father's Day weekend and family want to see you and you have your friends over, fires and all that good stuff after work, it takes up time. I mean, my Father's Day, I had intended to work on this business to get caught up. Instead, I spent it with my son. I loved doing it. Sorry for the noise. We were building the beginnings of a diorama. He wants to make a snow base for the D&D campaigns that he runs for me. And by campaigns, I'm using that kind of loose. He's 9 years old, so you can kind of follow that logical thread on how those usually go. It's usually just minis thrown out there and we're throwing dice and there's no rule sets. It's kind of awesome. At least that's my opinion. But yeah, I got distracted. And I think that's a good thing considering that I'm doing this as a side hustle. If this was a main business or a main business job, obviously I'd gain back the time that I have from the main job to focus on this. But this is one of those things where it's like I have inventory listed, I have it set up, and I'm getting orders and they're getting through. There's no reason for me to rush, at least in my eyes today, through everything to try and get as much moving as I possibly can. So that's one of the things that I'm thinking about. Slowing down the Back to Black series, slowing down some of the content creation and videos, only because I want to try and provide better quality moving forward. What does better quality look like? Can't guarantee that it's going to be that way. It's just how I feel about the video when I'm making it, which is to say, I want to have a reason for why I'm talking about something. So to that end, next week's video, I'm just going to drop on Tuesday. I'm going to be kind of just talking about mindsets and the emotional curve, because to me, I always felt that it was kind of inadequate, the way that it's outlined, and I won't speak too much to it right now. I'll let the video speak for itself, and whether or not it resonates with folks, we'll see with the algorithm, whether the subscriptions go up or if the views go up or if comments go up. But that's kind of what I'm thinking today. And then for July, for the Back to Black series, I've got to figure out how I want to do it. But I want to put out a promotion for the store for the series. Basically, you know, first time placing an order through the direct website, get a certain percentage off, 1 coupon per person. That's kind of what I'm thinking, and just calling it a back to black sale. And we'll just see if I'm able to figure out how to do that upon my return and kind of go from there. So if this style kind of works better or resonates with you, can you let me know down in the comments? That way I know I'm on the right track for how I want to develop these videos going forward. If it needs to be a little less editing, more talking head, or less, you know, tactical in terms of showing things, or more tactical in showing things, that will help me understand what you guys as an audience are looking for when it comes to being a proxied individual through the seller process and wanting to know how this all works. As always, if you did enjoy the content, go ahead, give it a like if you don't mind. It does help it share to the algorithm a little bit more, saying that, hey, this is a video of interest to people that are like us. And if you want to see me continue to build this, hit subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in future videos.